It would finish. It obviously could have been worse, but it's a second consecutive game in which Manchester United concede 3 goals as well after what happened against Spurs at the weekend. Let's welcome in Aage Fjortoft to talk more about this, but let me start with you, Stevie. Initial reaction to what we saw tonight?
I'm a little conflicted, to be honest. I don't know whether it's a good result or whether it's a bad result. You know, it's a bad result if you think that you're 2 up after 20 minutes. But then it's a good result if you're 3-2 down with 10 minutes to go and you're down to 10 men and you get a draw. I mean, there are so many good things and so many bad things. You know, the good things are Rashford looked in this game like the Rashford of, 2 seasons ago? Gets a little fortunate with the first one, but it's a fantastic run. Great bit of skill. And then the second one as well. So it's 2-0. Things are looking great. And then, of course, all the old habits start again, and nobody in the middle of the park can stop the opposition getting through. And then the 2 centre-backs, the 2 centre-backs just weren't dominated by Samu, no question, for the whole time that he was on the field. And when he got substituted, they must have been delighted to see that guy leaving, because Martinez and De Ligt, who should be the base for everything United do, just went at it tonight and got bullied.
So you can't decide whether it was a good result or a bad result. I wonder what Aage Fjortoft says. Was it a good or a bad result, Jan?
Well, it depends who you are. Are you the lawyer for Ten Hag, Manchester United, football in general? I think that what you can think that if he got 2 games to save his position, then it could be conflicted. But I think that with Sir Jim and the rest of the team there, they need to see a development. The fact is that this Porto team lost 3-2 to Norwegian team Bodø/Glimt in the last round. That is fact. This is also a fact. There is no development at Manchester United. The only consistency is that I think this is 1 win in the last 10 European games in the competitions. It's also a fact that they collapse. They have a tendency to collapse. This is not the first time. When they concede goal, it comes a little brace. There's always coming goals. And I'm with Steve. The way Samu played today, wow, what a player he is, by the way. How he kind of tricked out De Ligt on that goal, that was sensational. I am not sure that this will save Ten Hag. There is no development. Yes, they are 2-0 up. I must say the goalkeeper didn't look well on both goals, but doesn't matter. They were 2-0 up, and they still managed to go 2-3 at the back, showing a bit attitude there. Maguire to the rescue, getting that 3-3. But Villa on Sunday, I think that's going to be a Waterloo for Ten Hag. I'm not speaking of Abbas, I'm speaking of Napoleons.
Where are you on it, Shaka, before we move into some specifics in the game?
I'm a little bit conflicted, like Steve says. Listen, I think Manchester United, and more to the point, Erik Ten Hag, have found themselves in a situation where only Wales would do. So from that perspective, this is a very disappointing result. But if you consider that Porto's only loss for the season, Bodø/Glimt aside, has been away to Sporting Lisbon in the league, so they're perfect at home in all competitions so far this season. Manchester United desperately need a result, come on the road against a Porto team, or as I say, 100% at home. Maybe a point suffices, all other things being equal. But you're 2 up. And that's the thing, that's kind of the overarching feeling for me around this one. While, yes, you can talk about the late goal and you're down to 10 men and should it have been a sending off or not, you are 2 up and in total control of the football match half an hour into it. And then all of a sudden, it just totally comes apart at the seams. Concede 1, fine, but you don't go and concede a second and concede a third in the manner that Manchester United did. So all in all, I think once the dust settles and once some of the emotion around that Harry Maguire equaliser kind of settles, it's a disappointing result. It really is.
Can we go a little bit deeper, Stevie, on the defence's handling of Samu and just the defence in general here, and especially Matthijs de Ligt?
Yeah, well, listen, any time there was a ball played into the penalty box, De Ligt and Martinez were panicking.
The thing for me is, as as Sam was making that run, you see De Ligt turn around and see Sam kind of drifting off his shoulder. And as soon as De Ligt kind of refocuses on where the ball is, Samu makes his run. And so De Ligt cannot respond. He just simply can't. Never mind the physicality, never mind De Ligt's first step. It's just, all in all, poor defending by a defender that Manchester United have a lot banking on.
As a defender, you shouldn't get beaten in front of you. If you're going to get beaten, it should be behind you, not in front of you.
And that goal came just after half-time as well. We saw that last time out, Jan. How do you prevent that? Why is that happening?
Well, I think the big challenge for Manchester United is not how good they could be, is how bad they can be. I mean, the top teams, they will be 2-0 up and they'll find a way to keep the ball. With Manchester United, you never know. They seem disorganized. I'm sure there is a coach that tried to organize them. There is no leadership on the pitch. And I think it's very important because sometimes we're talking that a team play tactical. There's also the individual tactical stuff in midfield. I mean, there's a lot of things you can say about Bruno. Bruno is a goal scorer. Sometimes his kind of running is contagious and he get involved with everything. But you don't seem that there's no one who kind of out there. We come out now. Let's calm down. Let's find our game. Let's take it from there. Let's build a platform. And then I guess the consequences is also that the defense doing mistakes as they do, because a defender is more vulnerable. Any mistake can get a goal in there. And you saw De Ligt today. He was so hot and cold. There were times he was battling in the air. He was winning tackles. And then other times he looks like a League One player. So no disrespect to League One defenders. And that is just so sad to see, because De Ligt is a good defender. But they don't find a way to cooperate. Martinez, De Ligt. I mean, there's a lot of teams who would love to have those two at the back there.
How does that happen, Stevie? Like, obviously playing in defence, you're coming out right after your team talk in the dressing room. It's the start of the second half and you're conceding goals so early on. Why is it happening?
Well, because you're getting no protection from the middle of the park. I mean, there isn't any. And quite frankly, Erik ten Hag should have known that when you put Casemiro and Eriksen in front of a back four, the only thing that's going to happen is the back four is going to be busy.
So it's on the players or the coach?
Well, it's both. You know, you're asked to do a job, you've got to do a job. If you're Casemiro and Eriksen, I mean, think about what I'm saying here. He's asked Eriksen. You're asking somebody to do a job that they can't do. And so that's on the manager. But then the players have got to figure it out once they see something going wrong. De Ligt and Martinez, for example, if I'm playing centre-back for Man United and the opposition is streaming through, I'm pointing the finger and I'm telling them to get back and get in a position where at least we start strong and solid. Not starting 5 and 10 yards too far away and then the goal streaming through. Get them in, get them tighter to you and make them go round the outside. I mean, just the really simple little things. But as Jan just said, there's no leaders on the field, so nobody's telling anybody else whether it's well done, don't do that, get your foot in. I mean, there just looks as though there's no communication going on.
And now, I don't need to go into Villa just yet because we're going to do that. But after the game, Ten Hag has just said that Rashford's substitution was rotational. What's your reaction to that?
That don't make any sense to me. When you have a player who struggled for form as long as Marcus Rashford has, and then you find that form, why you change it on 45 minutes? If you leave it till 75, and say, well, I need him for the weekend. We've got a big game coming up away to Aston Villa. Fair enough. But on 45 minutes, you do that with a player who's been flying all season long and your entire season is hinging on him. But when it's a player that's struggling and all of a sudden has refound his form, leave him alone. Let him play. Let him fill his boots. To take him off at half-time, honestly, I am gobsmacked to hear that it was rotational.
We've been talking about the nonsense that Ten Hag's been coming out with. And this only goes to show you how delusional this guy is. Because a normal human being, a normal football coach who is under pressure and one of your players goes out in the first half and is the difference in the two sides and performs the way he did, and you think you are so safe in your job that you want to rotate, that's completely delusional. Any normal coach is going, you get yourself back out there and do the same thing in the second half so we can win this game. But this guy's so delusional, he thinks he's safe. That's what that tells me, that decision.
The thing for me as well, sorry, Jan, we were watching, on 75 minutes, Samu gets taken off. And we asking the same question, why do you take him off now? He's got De Ligt in his pocket. Just let him play. The game is 75 minutes, 50 minutes, all right, it's one goal in it. The game is a long way from being won. We thought that was a bad decision. Now to hear Ten Hag took Marcus Rashford out half an hour earlier than that, it's beyond me.
Just before you go, Jan, he did say that he wants fresh players for Sunday. He also added that.
Yeah, I understand everything, that there is always a reason for doing things. The funny thing is the rotation of Manchester United equals Rashford. He's the only one who's rotating. I mean, that is funny. And what is interesting as well, if you see the tactical thing of the Porto game today, have a trust in the player. Tell Marcus Rashford at halftime, wow, you've been brilliant. Brilliant. You keep Porto away from our goal because they have to watch out. Your 1-against-1 is perfect. How long can you do it? Yeah, can you do it 20 minutes? Can you give me 20? Then so trust your players. I mean, Manchester United at the moment are desperate to get players in form. Get any player in form. And when you get Rashford in form, he is really on form. And that is to do with confidence. You have to try to keep that going, keep that momentum going. I'm not so sure about that. I understand the English word delusional, but I understand one word is stubborn. It seems for me that Ten Hag is very stubborn because it has had this fight before with Rashford and with the pundits, and everybody says, why do you do that? Remember, where Rashford had 3 goals in 2 games, then he was out at Crystal Palace, I guess, and he's doing that again. That is for me a bit stubbornness, and I can't get it. There is enough wars to fight for Ten Hag at the moment. Why take on another one?
Let me also say that oftentimes people in trying to defend Erik Ten Hag say things like Pep Guardiola couldn't get a tune out of this Manchester United. Pep Guardiola would not take Marcus Rashford off after 45 minutes when he's in this kind of form. So the comparison, again, Erik Ten Hag just blew up his only line of defense in what is a stubborn decision. I hope Jan understood that.
Very stubborn. Well, Jan, let me talk about this game against Villa then, because let me remind you, you probably don't need reminding, but Manchester United did win both games, home and away, last year. Obviously, we know Villa will be buoyant from what happened against Bayern. What are the expectations here at the weekend? What's expected of United?
Well, first of all, I expect a great football game because Aston Villa are on fire, beating Bayern Munich. But Manchester United is all... I mean, of all these managers, Ole Gunnar had the same. They had a way of find a result when nobody expected that. So maybe that will be a good thing for him. But going into a game like this, it feels like he's losing players. He feels like he's losing football games. And then he go to Aston Villa now on fire. Fantastic atmosphere, fantastic result. That was the 82 all over again with the European Cup win with a lot of confidence. And I can't understand if it means that Rashford is fit. Mind you, now they're sitting somewhere, they're having a dinner soon. And the players, we know that, boys, the players speak amongst themselves. And one thing they don't understand is when players are on fire, when are they then taken off? This rotation thing is that what you then and again need to accept. But you need players with confidence. You need players in form going into that crucial game at Villa Park. And why crucial? Because after that, there is an international break. And things seems to happen sometimes in international breaks.
And the reports say that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be there, which will be his first time seeing Manchester United in the flesh once again since that 3-0 loss to Liverpool. So what will be expected of them, Stevie?
I could see Aston Villa just picking Manchester United off. I think Unai Emery will decide on a line of confrontation. And and let Manchester United come at them a little bit. And then when they turn the ball over, use the space that's left and get after that back four and try and do what Porto did on many occasions. Actually, I mean, Porto could have scored more than 3, let's be honest. Onana had about 3 other fantastic saves. So if I'm Aston Villa, I am encouraging Manchester United to step onto me a little bit so that when they do turn the ball over, now we've got loads of space to run through or past the middle of the park. Because regardless of the choices that Ten Hag has, he doesn't have choices that will stop anybody getting to the back line. And then you take advantage of it from there. So this has got an Aston Villa win written all over it.
Given the pressure of both these teams, Unai Emery and Aston Villa are not under immense pressure to get a result. They can go and play with the freedom of knowing they are who they are. Manchester United surely have to recognise, Erik Ten Hag surely has to recognise that they are one more bad result away from a separation. And with that comes a little bit of nervousness. With that comes pressure, not just for Ten Hag, but also for the players. So that, for me, again, plays into Aston Villa's hands in that they're in a far better position in every single regard.